там 30 секунд отчет пойдет.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anar Tuleubaeva, and I'm the Vice President of the Association for the Development of Artificial Intelligence in Kazakhstan. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today for our masterclass, which is organized with technology leader Google for startups. And our stream today is beginning with a presentation of our association. And let me introduce our activities for today. So we are representing an AI ecosystem which is evolving through close cooperation between the government and the private sector. So we act as a bridge, ensuring that innovation aligns with sound regulation and practical implementation. And by fostering these kind of partnerships, we aim to enable ethical AI adoption that benefits both the economy and the society. And let me check, can I change my slides? All right. You can see our mission in, a minute. I have a bad internet connection, I guess. So our mission is improving society's quality of life through ethical and sustainable AI development. And the main purpose is protecting business interests. So the interests of our members, of our partners, through mutually beneficial terms of the state and the society, of course. And next slide, you can see our members for the day, and there are not all of them, but the main member of our society is startup Qaz.AI. I guess you know about them. This startup is famous for all over our country, and this startups makes AI diagnostics tool for stroke. And other startups is also making their own AI based technologies, AI based startups. And we also represent our partners, which is, of course, the digital space and ministry of our country, and our health ministry, Huawei, Most Business Intelligence, Alem University, and Republic Party. The next, we can see the ranking. I need you to know where is our country by now. So to the situation of 2024, our country was, I'm not sure that right enough, but I guess in a 40th place. And our strongest parts were our governance and ethics, not the governance, but an e-government score. And also we have a strong digital capacity and adaptability. and we have a leakage of human capital and infrastructure. And as an association, we are working on this kind of issues and organizing these kind of master classes for today. The next is our strategic approach. Of course, we base on the our country's AI strategic documents. So we have now we are developing the Kazakhstan's AI strategy for 2025 and 2029. Also, we are working on the AI law, which is going to be the main document of our country. And also, we are taking part in creating a LEM AI center, like the conceptual view of this center. Also, the other goal is to create a sovereign computing cluster and national AI platform to grow up the skills and to grow up local product development. So this kind of tasks are the main tasks of not only our government but also our association. We have the kind of activities for today. You can see it now. One moment. So this is our activities. The main activity is, of course, AI regulation. So we are participating, as I mentioned before, in drafting national legislation and ethical AI standards. Infrastructure, we facilitate access to computing power and data for startups and academia. We also provide mentorship, we guided emerging companies and supporting solution design. Also, the education, we are partners with the universities to develop AI curricula. Also, we are making efforts on the public awareness of AI. So we led campaigns to promote trust and understanding of AI. Also, of course, networking, we organize industry events to foster connections across the sectors. The next, we can see the brief results of 2024. Last year, we brought real progress. So we launched pilot projects in healthcare and logistics sectors. We also skills gap research conducted, helping shape future training programs. We also form partnerships with regional and international institutions, including work under the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and also other digital economy initiatives. Also, we make regulatory updates adapted to enable cross-border data exchange under the privacy safeguards. So these results position our association as a serious digital partner. And this is a brief information, and I want to thank you also again for joining us. And please meet our speaker for the day. Please meet Nisha. Nisha, hi, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for joining us today. First, I want you to introduce yourself for our people who join us today. And okay, let's start our masterclass.
Okay. All right. So I'll share my screen. All right. I hope you can see it. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Nishi Ajmera. I work at Publicis Sapient. I work as a manager technology or a solutions architect at Publicis Sapient. I'm also a woman in tech maker ambassador, passionate about promoting diversity in the world of tech. I'm also a Google developer expert in AI and ML, and I'm passionate about AI, especially Gen AI. And I do a lot of talks around LLMs, AI agents, prompt engineering, and like things around Gen AI. And here I am with another talk today on how to use the Google's Gen AI SDK and explore the Gemini models. And we will also talk about the multimodal API, multimodal live API, how to use that. So the structure of today's session would be I have few slides which I'm going to quickly walk you through in terms of like what is Gemini and like what are the broad categories of Gemini models which are available out there. And then we'll dive into how you can use the unified SDK to explore and play around with the Gemini models. So we'll do some prompting with the Gemini 2.5 Flash model. We'll also use image as a prompt. Then we'll see how to integrate the Google search tool, build a multi-turn application, like a really small in the notebook. So I've created a notebook. I'll share the link with you. You can also do it side by side along with me. And then we are going to move towards the multimodal API. So for that also, I have a repo which you can just fork it, run it. You would just need a Google API key. And I'll walk you through how you can fetch the Google API key as well. So let's get started. Uh, Gemini 2.0, I think 2.5 is the latest Gemini version. So sorry, this slide needed a bit of update, but it's enabling the agentic era. And in the Gemini family, Gemini is an umbrella brand which is used in Google products that utilizes the Gemini models. So, how can you consume Gemini models? There are three ways to consume Gemini. One is they have the gemini.google.com app, which is for the consumers. So, you can just go on gemini.google.com, or you can install the app on your phone and you can play around with Gemini. You can upload a file, ask a bunch of questions. You can ask it to generate image for you. You can do all of that over there. For developers, they have exposed the APIs. So you just need a Google API key, and then you can use these APIs and play around with Gemini, explore it for your use cases, and see how things work. So this is what we are going to use in today's session. And then once you're ready, you know where Gemini best fits in your use case, and you want to build a production ready application, you move towards the enterprise and you consume the Gemini API using the Vertex AI platform. Okay. Moving on to the Gemini models. So there are new model versions which come out every other month, but Gemini models are basically categorized in four broad categories. So as you can see, the Gemini's largest model is the Gemini Pro. So the latest 2.5 Pro model is available out there for us to explore and use in our applications. With Pro now, they have the thinking available. It is a switch we can which you can just use it, like you can uh, use the Gemini 2.5 models thinking mode as well. Then you have a Flash and the Flashlight series of models. These models you would use for general purpose task or high frequency task, where you need more latency, and like your tasks are very like something like writing an email, summarizing your documents, or something really of low complexity. So there you can fit in the Flash and the Flashlight models. Then you have the Nano range, which is best fit for on-device tasks. So in today's session, we are going to use Flash and Flashlight, though we'll just play around quickly with Pro and Flash just to see the difference between these models, and how Pro responds to a user request and how the Flash model responds to a user request. Like how much of thinking the Pro model does, and how much of thinking the Flash does. So we'll quickly have a look at that. Then moving on to what makes Gemini unique. So Gemini models are natively multimodal, meaning that it can accept text as an input, it can accept image as an input, video as an input, or audio as an input. It can do processing for all these different types of data, and it can generate image as an output. It can generate text as an output. Then it also supports multimodal live API. We are going to have a look at this today towards the end of the session. And another unique point about Gemini is its very long context window. It provides you 2 million length context window. So you can play around with this very long context window in your own time and see how these models behave. Right.
Nishi, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I cannot see your presentation. I guess
Oh,
something's wrong. Maybe you can try to
did you
fix
not see
it.
it at all, or?
No, I cannot see it. So that's why I
Oh,
interrupted you.
sorry. Yeah. That's good. Can you see it now? Can you see the presentation now?
No, I cannot still.
Oh, okay. Something seems, yeah, something seems wrong. Wait, let me give it this a try. Wait. Is it visible now?
No, it's still not.
Okay. Well, just give me 1 second.
It's in podcast. Someone is Maxim is answering that. Thank you, Maxim. Okay, guys, Nishi will join us again. You can text your questions, and after joining us, Nishi will answer them. While Nishi is joining us, I can say that you also can ask about our activities, associations activities, and you can text here the website, the link to our website also. Please join us, guys. We need to join the experts. I guess there's a problem, guys. Sorry, Nishi has an issue with joining us. Nishi, we cannot hear you. Guys, please stay with us. Do not leave. Nishi is trying to join us again.
Hear me. Hey, can you hear
Oh,
me?
finally.
Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. I
Welcome
was able
back.
to hear you.
Okay, let's try again.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see the presentation? I hope so. Can you see my screen?
Still,
Can you see my screen?
I cannot. I guess the host should.
Sorry about this. Hello. Is my screen visible now? I hope so. Yeah, it's visible now, right? Shall I go ahead, or do you want me to go through the previous slides? An hour or max? Okay, I'll just quickly go through the broad categories here. So we discussed about the Google Gemini Pro model, Flash, Flashlight, and Nano. So Flash and the Flashlight are the models which you would use for your general purpose task, low to medium complexity task, and this is what we're going to use in today's session. Uh, we see only screen off. Okay. uh, Max, just let me know if you want me to like continue with the presentation, or is there still challenge in accessing, like in viewing the presentation? Sure. Okay, sorry. I can share my screen again. Just I was trying something. Okay. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Okay, cool. So, what makes Gemini unique? So, the ability, so Gemini models are natively multimodal, meaning that it can take text and image as an input, it can process audio, video, text, and images as an input, and it can generate text and image as an output. Then it comes with the multimodal live API, which we are going to explore in the later part of the session. And then its unique long context window, which is about 2 million tokens. So you can play around with the 2 million token in your own time. Moving on to the Gemini features. So Gemini has a thinking mode now. So the Pro models come with a thinking mode. You can switch it on and off, and you can play around with that. Then Unified SDK, which is what we are going to, which is what the workshop for today is about. Then it enables it comes with the native tool use. So we'll use this feature as well. We'll try to integrate the Google search tool and see how that works. Then it has spatial understanding. It comes with the multimodal live API, and it has native image and audio output. Uh, we'll explore some of these features today. Uh, so I'll just quickly go through the unified SDK and how that works. So there are two ways of accessing the Gemini models. The first is the UI. So you can access the Gemini models using the Google AI Studio or the Vertex AI Studio. You can play around with those models. You can do prompt engineering and see what works best with these models. Uh, and then the other way is using the SDK. So if you want to integrate your Gemini models in your applications, then you need to consume these APIs, consume these models using an API. And for that, you can use this SDK. So they have now created one SDK to access the models using the Google API and the Google Cloud API. So Google API you would use for accessing the models, like the thing which we discussed previously, right? So you can use the Gemini APIs, or you can use the models which are deployed on the Vertex, on the Google Cloud, on the Vertex, using the Vertex AI service. So both you can consume using a single SDK. So yeah, it has the unified interface, so you can consume the Gemini Developer API on the Google AI Studio and also on the Vertex AI. Now, we will quickly switch over to the notebook which I've created. So you can either scan this QR code, or you can go on to this link, and this will take you to the notebook. I can share the notebook in a minute. Just give me 1 second. So yeah. So that QR code will lead you to this link. You can just click on open in Colab, and this will open the notebook in the Colab for you. You need to create the Google API key. So I can quickly show you how you can create the Google API key. Uh, can you? Okay, sorry, you can only see my presentation. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. Can you see the Google Notebook? Yeah, cool. All right. So uh, we'll go to the Google's AI Studio. AI Studio Google. So you go to aistudio.google.com, and you see this Get API Key button on top, right? You click on that. You click on Create API Key. This is going to generate an API key for you, and you can use this API key in this notebook. So you go to the secrets tab. Okay, you give the name of the secret as Google underscore API underscore key, and you paste that value over here. So this way, this whole notebook will have access to this API key, right? Now I'll just walk you through this notebook step by step. Okay. So the first thing is that we will install the Google GenAI SDK. Okay, you can do this in parallel, and let me know if you face any questions, if you face any issues. So yeah, I am installing the Google GenAI package. Then you need to set up your API key. So to set up your API key, you just need this code. So you just need to import the user data from google.colab, and then you need to do user data.get Google API key. So this is going to set your API key for this entire notebook. Then we are going to import the GenAI package from the Google. So from Google, we are going to import GenAI, and then we are going to create a client using the API key, right? So this initializes the client with your API key. Then we are going to choose a model. So now here you see I have selected the model as 2.5 Flash. You can give whatever model you feel like. So you can give 2.5 Flash, 2.5 Pro, Flashlight Preview. You can choose whatever model you want. Okay. And then we are gonna give a first query. So I was trying the Gemini 2.5 Pro model. So let's just try with the Gemini 2.5 Pro first. And I have asked the Pro model to give me an algorithm for binary search. I was looking for a complex query, so I thought, let me ask it to give me an algorithm for binary search. This is going to take a few seconds for it to come up with the response. Because we are using the Pro model. Pro is the largest model of the Gemini series. The latency will be high for a Pro model because it has the thinking mode on as well. So it is going to take time to generate the response for you. So that's why we are just going to do like one prompt to Pro, and then we'll move to Flash or Flashlight, because we want quick responses for this workshop. Right. So if you see the response, it has actually uh, generate a very detailed response over here. So it has given you the core concept and then the algorithm step by step. Then it has taken an example, and then it is going to walk you through the algorithm step by step. And then it has the code implementation, uh, like various implementation, and then it also talks about the performance. Now you can run the same query using the Flash model. So I'm just gonna change this. Flash model will also be able to generate the uh, generate the algorithm for you, but you will see like it won't be this detailed. Let's just quickly run through it. It will still give you the algorithm, it will still give you the complexity, but the Pro model, it took examples and then it actually walked you through the algorithm step by step. I Let's see how the Flash model works. Okay, it has done the same thing. Might be cached, but let's see. Okay, how it works. Then it has given the algorithm for the binary search, and it has the pseudocode for it, and then it has the walkthrough time and space complexity, and that's it. So you see the difference. The previous output was very well structured, and it was more detailed than this one. You can play around with like different queries here. I'm gonna move on to the temperature setting and how you can uh, change the randomness of the output. So temperature is the setting uh, which allows you to change the output. Like if you want a creative output, more creative output, you will set the temperature to a higher value. And if you want more fact-based response, and if you want the LLM to not be that creative, you set the temperature to a lower value. So here, if you see, I've asked a question like, give me a numbered list of cat facts, and I've given a temperature as 2. This is the response which I get. Like, whiskers are more than just cute. They can't taste sweet things. Like, it's very creative. Now, if I just change this to 1, you will see like a very straightforward response from the model. So yeah, let's just see. Uh, masters of Yeah, you see it has generated like masters of grooming. Cat spends a significant portion of their waking hours grooming themselves. Whiskers are vital. Unique water drinkers. You can play around with the temperature setting, and you'll see the difference in the output. The other thing which I want to highlight over here is the stop sequence. So because we wanted the model to generate only 5 list of cat facts, we have given the stop sequence as backslash and 6. So as soon as it receives this token, it is going to stop generating the response. So this comes very handy when you want to limit your responses to a certain to a certain limit, or to a certain number of tokens. Then you can also, yeah, there's another configuration, max output tokens. So this is also useful to make the model generate only limited number of to make the model generate either shorter responses or longer responses. So if the model has reached like the 2000 tokens, it will stop generating at that point in time. So beware of how you set this value, because it can then like just randomly stop generating the output, and your output might not be like complete. So depending on your use case, set the maximum output token value. Then moving on to creating a chat or creating a multi-turn conversation. So the SDK comes with a chat module. You can just do client.chat.create. So this will create a chat session for you, and then you can send in your response. So here I am telling the model, or telling the model that I am a software engineer, I'm working on Python, I would love some cool project ideas. So it is going to generate like, it's going to give me a list of cool project ideas. And then meanwhile it generates, I'll just show you how are we going to, yeah. So it has given me a very detailed answer of like what all projects I can create using Python, right? Now there are few out of the box things which comes with this chat module. Is one is the history. It maintains the history for you. So here it will say, it will give you the user input and the model response. Because we have just given one input, we just have like one input and the output over here. Now let's ask it a follow-up question, like to test whether it has the previous conversation in its memory. So I have just asked it, what do you know about me? And it should ideally tell me that I am a software engineer. Yeah. So it says you're a software engineer, your primary programming language focuses Python. And now, if I go back and run my history, it should have both the conversations saved in its history. So you don't have to like do all these configurations yourself. It just comes out of the box with the SDK. So you see, this was the first request response which I got. Right. Yeah. And this is the second one here. So it maintains the history for you. It passes that the history as a context to the model, so that the model knows what was the past conversation about, and then it will give you a better response that way. So that's how you can build a multi-turn, a conversational chat application using this module. Then how do we use images in our prompt? So we'll first download an image from a URL. So this is the URL. From here I'm downloading an image. Okay, so I'll just quickly run this curl, and I'm going to import this image. So it was the, yeah, this is an image of a jetpack backpack, and it has some specifications mentioned over here. We are going to pass this image as an input along with this prompt. So the prompt which we are giving is, the image contains a sketch of potential products along with some notes. Given the product sketch, we want the model to describe the product as thoroughly as possible. And then we have given it a JSON structure, and we want the model to respond in that particular structure. So let's see what the model responds with. So as you can see over here, the description, it is given the product is conceptualized as backpack, and it is lightweight, discreet, looking like a normal backpack capable of accommodating 18-inch laptop. So you can see all of that in in the image. So it has captured that very well, and then it has also captured the features over here. One thing which I also want you to notice is how fast the Gemini 2.5 Flash model is as compared to Pro, right? So yeah, that's how you can like use images uh, in this images in the Gemini models. Then moving on to the tool use, how do you integrate tools in Gemini? How do you pass tools to these Gemini models? So it is actually very straightforward. But before I go ahead and execute this, uh, why do you need to pass tools such as Google search to the Gemini model, right? So these LLMs are trained on vast amount of data. They LLMs by itself don't have access to the real world data or to internet, right? So if I comment this out for now, right, and I'll just comment I'll comment this part. And if I run this, let's see the response. So I'm not passing the Google search tool, and let's see what Gemini responds with. So it says Wimbledon 2024 has not started yet, and the main tournament dates are 1st July, Sunday 14th July. And then why is it responding with like 2024 data? Because this was trained, I think the last training was done in May 2024. So that's why it is responding with this. It is not giving you the real world data. Ideally, so when last time when I tried it, it said as of May 2024. This is the update which I have, but I think it did not do that this time. Okay, now let's pass the Google search as a tool. So in config, you just pass tools as Google search. So this SDK, it understands, like it comes with the Google search tool. So you just have to like pass the tool with the tool name as Google search, and it will actually like uh, use the Google search for you. So yeah, so now if you see the response, given that the current date is 7th July 2025, latest on Wimbledon refers to this. So now it is fetching the real data. So yeah, this is really cool if you want your LLMs to connect to the real world and fetch live data. Now, if you see over here, it generates the response. So this is like it went on to Google, it searched about like whatever query we had, and then it has summarized it in a nice format for us. But in the response, you also get the grounding metadata, and this grounding metadata has the web search queries. So the queries which it uses to search, and then it also give you the grounding chunks, and it also gives you the html for these search queries. So I'll just open that and show it to you. Like, so it search for Wimbledon latest news, and this is the html, like this is the search which it did. So this is really cool if you want to integrate sorry, just give me one second. Yeah, so it also gives you like the sources link, like the links which it searched. So when you're building a chat based application, and if you want to link the response, like if you want to provide the source of the response, whatever LLM has access to, you can use these metadata in your applications. Okay. Cool. So moving on, like you can play around with a bunch of prompts yourself and see how this works. You can also integrate this tool in your chat application. So here you see an example of, we created a chat application, and then yeah, so when you're creating the chat session, you also pass in the config, you can pass the search tool. So you get the search tool in the SDK. You also get the code execution tool. So you can use these tools in your application. Right. I'm not going into the plot search details, though uh, you will find the code in the notebook. You can play around with this. What this does is it basically uses the Google search tool, and we ask the Gemini model to generate some Python code to plot the runtimes of like 10 most recent movies, and then it generates the output. From the output, we fetch the Python code, and then we execute the Python code. So you can play around with this. This is actually quite cool, like to analyze data, to analyze CSVs in visual format. This is actually very useful. So I would highly recommend you to play around with this in your own time. I will now move on to the live API. So uh, okay, I can actually pull this up here. Just bear with me for a moment. So this is the project which I have forked from the from Heiko. I think he's a Google GenAI build. Like he works at Google, and I think he's a Google developer advocate. He has created a really cool application to play around with the Gemini multimodal live API. I have forked this, and I have uh, removed. I have mocked the weather tool so that we you just need your Google API to run this, and you can play with the multimodal API. I will share the link of this. Just bear with me. I can actually quickly create a QR code for this so that it's easier for you to scan. There's a way to, yeah, create QR code. Yeah, I'll keep this for like 5 seconds. You can scan this QR code, it will take you to this GitHub page. You can fork the repo, or you can just clone this and run it in your local, and you will be able to like use run the multimodal live API. I'll show you how it works in a bit. Okay, I hope people were able to scan this. I'll also share this in the chat. Okay, cool. So what is the multimodal live API? The multimodal live API allows you to talk to the APIs in real time voice. So it is like having a conversation, a voice to voice conversation with these models, and it is like it feels natural, and it has low latency. Like you can have low latency voice conversations. Uh, then multimodal input, so it can accept voice as an input, it can accept text as an input, it can also accept video as an input, and also screen sharing. So you can play with all these four things in the AI studio, the app which we have created. We are just going to explore the voice to voice communication. We are not going to get into the video and the screen sharing part in this session, right? uh, Okay, so I will quickly go through the architecture of this, and then I'll show you how to run this application and how to access it. So I hope this is visible. All right. So the multimodal API, you can access it using the Google GenAI SDK. Uh, but to access this multimodal API, you need to create a WebSocket server, and you need to have a client and the server. So this, we'll create a proxy server over here. This proxy server will expose the WebSocket, and in the client side, the client is going to handle will have the media handler and the audio handler. So basically, when you start speaking, your browser will enable the mic, and your client JS will basically, it will record the audio and will send that screen to the WebSocket server, and that stream is then passed on to the multimodal live API. So I'll go into the implementation details as well, but I'll go through the high level flow first. So let's say user sends a request that the user wants to know the weather in London, and that is a voice conversation happening. So I ask, what is the weather in London? The audio handler will create the audio stream. That audio stream gets passed to the GenAI Python SDK. Okay, it will pass that stream to the multimodal live API. The live API processes it, it sends a response back. So in this case, because we are asking for weather, and we are passing two tools to the multimodal API. One is the get the forecast, and another one is the get weather tool. The API figures out that it needs to do a function calling. It needs to use the get weather tool with the argument as London. So it sends this response back. There is a tool handler which we have to write inside our the proxy service which we create, and that tool wrapper will read this response. It will see that the model has asked for a function call, so it will read that it needs to call the get weather function, and then it goes ahead and it calls the function. So this get weather tool function, I have mocked it up in my repo so that we don't need, like, you don't need to create another API and then add it into your envs. So it calls the get weather tool, it calls the get weather function, and the get weather function is going to return the response. That response is then sent back again to the multimodal live API. The live API processes it and it sends the final response. That would be an audio stream, and that audio stream is then passed back to the client JS, and the client then plays it back for the user. I hope this flow makes sense. I'm going to quickly jump into the code. Just bear with me for a minute. Okay, I don't think it is visible, but let me share my screen again. Okay, is it visible? An hour max. I think I had to change the screen, so not sure if that's visible now. Yeah, okay, it's coming up. Cool. Thank you so much. All right, so this is the project live wire. I've opened it up in my VS Code. I'll quickly show you how to run this. So, okay. First thing is on your server side. So everything is there in your env. You can read through this and actually run the application, but I will quickly go through it. So the first thing first is you need to create a virtual environment. Let me actually go through the steps so that it would be easier for everyone to follow along. Yeah. Right. So you need to go inside the server folder, and then you need to create a virtual environment. So this is the command to create the virtual environment. It's going to create the virtual environment. Then you need to activate your virtual environment. Right. So here you can see the virtual environment is activated. Now I'm going to do a pip install to install all the modules. You might have to do a pip3 install for Python 3.11, like if you have the Python version 3. Okay, so I did pip3 install requirements.txt, and then I am going to run my server.py. So before doing that, you need to create the .env file. So you can either clone this and then just modify the Google API key. So just place your Google API key over here. You only need your Google API key in your env to run this application. Okay, so add that in your .env, and right, we are not dealing with the Vertex AI thing now, so you don't need to like add your project ID and these function URLs. You don't need any of that. Then you will just do Python 3 server.py. Okay, so this is going to run your server on port 8081. Now, how do you run your client? So running your client is actually pretty straightforward. It is one Python script which you are going to run. If I go to the README over here, yeah, just need to run this. You need to go into the client, so you do cd client and then you run this. And this will run your application on localhost 8000. So I go here, localhost 8000. Okay, I will show you how the application, the running application in a bit, but I'll quickly go through the technical implementation on the server side because that is really important. So if I go in my server.py, this is where we are exposing the WebSocket server. And to the WebSocket server, we are passing this handle client. So this is where you are basically doing your connection with your Gemini multimodal live API. You're creating the Gemini session. So let me quickly open this. Yeah, so here we create the Gemini session and we handle the messages in that session. So we have this handle message function. If I go here, we have created two tasks. One is to handle the input and another one is to handle the response, which is generated by the Gemini. Okay, so if I go into handle client messages, this is the input which we are dealing with. So we are dealing with type as audio, image, and so depending on your input type, it actually it passes that input to the GenAI session, and you pass the data and you pass the MIME type over here, right? So this is where you are sending the data to the Gemini API. Then going back to the response, yeah. So in the response, basically, if it is an audio response, it just streams that audio response back. But the one thing to notice over here is this response.tool call. So if there is a tool call in the response, it has a tool queue created and it adds that tool call response to the queue. And then we have a tool, yeah, we have this the process tool queue function, which will deal with the processing of all the tool calls. So here it basically sends that the function call name and the arguments. So we do send the function call even back to the client, just in case you want to show to the user that this is the tool which the API is calling. And then we execute that tool. So in the execute tool, we are passing the function call name and the argument, and this is actually going to make that call. So here I have just created a mock function. You can do your own implementation over here. So I hope this helps. Also, yeah, so once all the processing is done, uh, this is where it processes the server content. So if Gemini responds back and a user starts speaking, it will raise an interrupt, and that interrupt basically tells that user is saying something, so the response is interrupted by the user input, and then it will stop processing that, and it will uh, process the new request which is coming in from the user. So that is what this is doing. And if there is no interrupt, then it just processes the response and sends it back to the client. Okay, uh, I will now show you how it works. Let me just go to, let me share my screen again, sorry. And okay, yeah, so why is it, okay, this is where my application is running. I'm gonna open the inspect just to see what's going on. Okay, now when I click on this, yeah, you see the WebSocket, the connection has been established, and I'll just say, hey, can you hear me? I hope you're able to hear the response. uh yeah, see, when I said it's like it's interrupted, so it gives over here that the response is interrupted by the user. Okay. Yeah. All right. What tools do you have? Okay. Yeah. Can you get me the weather in London? All right. I'm going to stop this. Otherwise it will keep listening. Okay, so you see over here, we are showing this function get weather. So we, as soon as Gemini responded that it needs to do a function call, we send that event back to the client so that the client can respond with what function it is calling, with what parameters, and then once you get the response, that response is also sent back to the client. So I hope this helps. I think we are almost on time. um, Let me know if there are any questions. I'll be happy to answer it. I will go back to my slides. There isn't much on the slides. I think we've covered most of it, but no, the slide is not visible. Okay, anyways, I think that was it for today's session. Okay, it's appearing now. So we have covered the multimodal live API. It enables low latency two-way interaction. We can input text, audio, and video, and you can get audio and text as output. So we have seen the audio to audio working. You can play around with text and video in the same application. Uh, yeah, model can see, hear, and speak. And it is really low latency, as you can see how fast it was able to respond to me. Model remembers the session, yes. And it also comes with function calling. So we played around with a single function, get weather. You can also integrate it with code execution and Google search, and build your own applications. I think that was it for today's session. Do play around with the multimodal API, and let me know if you like whatever cool projects you build using these APIs. I think voice is going to be the future of agents. So, yeah, that's really exciting. And thank you so much for joining me. You can connect me on LinkedIn. That's the barcode. Hey, Anar.
Hi.
Hi.
So, hi again, Nishi. Thank you so much. I guess I'm sure that your presentation was very helpful for our students today, for our viewers. And thank you again for joining us and for sharing all this your knowledge. Of course,
Mhm.
save the comments, and if there is any other comments or questions, guys, please ask, and we can text a feedback to you. And thank you again, Nishi. Guys,
Thank you.
thank you. And follow us on our social media. We are going to provide other kind of master classes. I'm sure that all of these classes would be very helpful for you, for very useful for you guys. And enjoy your evening. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.